Thank you, Presiding Officer. I'm grateful for the opportunity to participate in this debate, and I welcome the Government bringing this now annual debate forward, which is an opportunity to reflect on the progress made and the work still to be undertaken. Before moving to the substance of this afternoon's statement and the contributions so far, I just want to put on record my thanks to all those in my constituency of Renfrewshire South who were involved and engaged in our Remembrance Sunday services last month. These are an opportunity for communities to come together, and I want to also express my gratitude to members who have signed my motion for a members' debate that will take next year, where we can all recognise more fully the contribution of those in our communities who preserve and look after our war memorials, who ensure that any new information that comes to light is reflected on the war memorials it takes place, and I look forward to that debate taking place next year. I'd like to begin just by reflecting generally on our veterans community in Scotland. Some members may have seen last month on the BBC a documentary led by Gary Lineker, My Granddad's War, which was reflecting on his grandfather's experience serving in Italy. And it touched a chord with me because he interviewed one of the few remaining veterans, a gentleman who's 104 years old, about his experiences of serving in Italy. And it struck me that my grandfather, my mum's father, who I unfortunately never met as he predeceased my birth, would have been 105 years old. And he had served in Italy. He had served with the Royal Artillery, not only in Italy, but also in Greece, in North Africa, and in Sicily too. And the connection between these events and of some 70 years ago and today seem incredibly immediate. And what it made me reflect upon is the nature in which the contribution that veterans make transcends any one particular time period. It resonates to us today. What veterans do in keeping us safe and secure is not just for this generation, but for all generations and future generations. And what particularly struck me is that I'm of a generation where many people of my age went out and fought in Iraq and Afghanistan, and irrespective of what people's particular views were of those wars, we are all united in our support for that community. And so there are many people who are my age who are, having been through that experience, have coming back and making an immense contribution to society. And I know in my own constituency of Renfrewshire South, but I know there are also those who require that extra support. And I think the words of Maurice Corrie were very powerful, is that veterans don't need to be pitied, but they do need to be supported and they need to be championed. And I am delighted to see the sense of common purpose that is emerged across the chamber within this debate and how agreed we are. And one particular area I want to commend the government on in its work is that around employability. I think with regards to the exercises that are underway just now in mapping qualifications to enhance the opportunities for veterans in gaining employment and to enhance veterans' abilities to articulate the relevance of their qualifications to employers is exceptionally important. And I think that is to be commended, as is the amendment to the criteria of the Workplace Equity Fund. I also just want to briefly, before concluding, join my colleagues George Adam in commending the work of Scottish Warblinded, particularly at the Hawkhead Centre, which I was delighted to visit last year. And I would just want to reiterate that point, that the services they provide, they are open to all veterans, regardless of the circumstances in which your sight was lost. But you're telling me to conclude, Presiding Officer, so I shall take your advice.